Hi, you're listening to the In Motion podcast. I'm your host, Austin Jamieson, and today we have a very special guest. It's one of my best friends. He's an amazing artist based out of Vancouver. Please give it up for him, August Quinn.
You are listening to the In Motion podcast with your host, Austin Jamieson.
I wonder what's gonna happen to you. Hey. Okay. There's a bunch of bugs all around you. What are you gonna do now? Run around? Cry about it? Hey, every day I'm doing science things on the computer, man. Hey, Hey, I wonder what's gonna happen to you, man. Hey, what's gonna happen to you, man?
Next week, we'll be finding out how many carrots.
Hey, how's it going?
Chilling? Yeah, chilling.
You've had an interesting kind of tenure in art. You've kind of fallen into a bunch of different mediums and modes and stuff, and this is kind of your first foray into like the digital kind of landscape and stuff.
No, it's a completely different world. I guess like I don't know. I've always been into animation like throughout my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've always just like gravitated towards it, but like never actually like leapt into it until a few years ago when it just like started to make sense. And I think like in 2021 like I was like developing these characters just on canvas, and I wanted to figure out how to make them 3D, like whether that was like through sculpture or I don't know, whatever medium, and then 3D just ended up making the most sense.
Yeah, no, the paintings, I mean, you used to...
Yeah, I could whip them out like in a month or like...
You were always kind of weird with that, though. I mean, like, back, I feel like when we first started hanging out, you would go from, like, these, like, weird little, like, bits of time where it would either be, like, a painting would take you, like, a month or more to finish, or it would take you an hour or more to finish, and there was like no in between. Like
Yeah.
you would either be like in this kind of, maybe not, I don't know, would you describe it as like kind of manic or just like creative or whatever? Because I'm thinking about like UBC campus versus like the Crown Street house kind of like difference of, yeah, like how much work production was kind of coming out of that Crown Street was pretty insane.
No, that shit was like a factory when we were there.
Yeah.
I guess like
Let's get into that.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I could just like 2020 was just like everyone has their 2020 story.
Yeah.
Like mine was like doing drugs in a garage for 6 months. Like I don't know, like which was like it's just normal that happened, I guess. But
donkey. I like a donkey. Donkey, get out my swamp.
You're reading smart things.
Yes. Since love of my native place constrained me, I gathered up the scattered leaves and restored them to him, who was already hoarse. Then we came to the boundary between the second round and the third. We had seen a fearful device of justice.
I honestly think that we're gonna look back at that house like weirdly one day and like think about like, because you know you've got like Brennan and Emma, you, me, like we got like this like weird eclectic house of artists, Seb as well, like
yeah.
you know, like Alex, like all these like weird artist people all kind of like riding out the pandemic together, just getting absolutely fucked up, just like making weird art. We were like, Brennan and I were making like a video a week, like just like shooting whatever we could around,
it was
like
fun as fuck.
yeah.
Like the vibes have certainly changed.
Yeah.
Um,
Close to there. Yeah, the vibes are definitely a little different now, eh? It's
Yeah.
well, I mean, you know, we're back out into the open world. You don't have as much time to just focus in on like getting art done, you know? You have to go and like pay bills. The government, I think that was the biggest thing too. Like anytime I think about like, oh yeah, like the government shouldn't just be out here like, you know, giving money to whoever, then I was thinking about it and like, God, it was really good though when they were just giving out money. Like shit was
No,
pretty fun for a little while.
I've talked to my friends in the U.S. about that and shit, and I have like one homie who's like heavily against universal basic income, and I told him like, nah, it's bussin'. And then he was like, no, it's the fucking worst thing ever. They're gonna tax us, like.
Yeah, but we won't really realize it. It's fine, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like, after 2020, like I got $5,000. I'm like, nah, I don't think universal basic income's that bad. And my homie's like, nah, like everyone's like taking that money and like spend it on goods from China. And I'm like, that's the way it goes, I guess.
Yeah. No, really. I mean, we were just foolish then. That whole garage just looked kind of like a weird, like, acid nightmare. Like, like with all the paintings up. Like, at one point, we just came into it one day, like, after a party had gone on, and, like, the door, somebody had just taken, like, a can of spray paint that you were using for art, and they just, like, they just took, like, a neon green can of spray paint and just, like, spray painted the door, like, a smiley face on the door. Just, like... No one admitted to it ever, and it's one of the most wild things, I think, like, that came out of that house, that just, like, no one admitted to it, because, like, all of, like, the people that, like, destroyed shit quite often were pretty admitted about it, you know, like Jake and the, you know, the paint walls and stuff. He's like, I own up to it, fucked up, you know, I painted up the walls, you know, but, like, no one admitted to the spray painting of that door. And
no, I'm sure someone just didn't remember.
I think that was probably likely, yeah.
And everyone knew it, like, wasn't me, like, thankfully.
Well, yeah, because you would have done a better piece on there. If you were gonna, like, really, like, take it past that threshold of, like, starting to, like, paint the house, you know, like, I feel like you would have done some way more interesting stuff with it, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know, I could just say, I could talk about, like, how, like, I even got into that circumstance, I guess. Into that garage.
Yeah.
So I started that year, like, March in New York, when, like, that shit was first, like, New York was, like, the first, like, city in North America, I guess, to get, like, hit large. And I was, like, I started painting, like, a lot, like, when lockdown first started, and, like, I was just waking up painting all day, go to bed, like, couldn't see anyone, didn't hang out with anyone. Like, 900 people a day were dying outside. Like, the streets were fucking empty. Like, New York streets were fucking empty. Like, that's fucking insane.
It's really
like,
fucked up.
I was outside in the daytime. Like, the art stores closed. I couldn't get any fucking canvas anywhere, so I was digging in the garbage, and in, like, I went into construction sites, and, like, I remember going into a construction site and taking, like, a giant, like, 9-foot piece of wood, and the construction workers were like, "Fuck you doing?"
Why do you need our wood, dude?
I was like, I just want it. And they're like, nah, put it back. And then I put it back, and then I was like, wearing my fucking respirator. I was like, all the art stores are closed. I just want to do my art. And then they're like, oh, just take it. And so it was like that for a few months.
Yeah.
And then when shit like started to spread out more, I dipped to a weed farm in Oregon.
Oh yes, yeah. Right.
Stayed like on a CBD farm with like Argentinian weed farmers for a month. And just got fucking so high.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
sounds like a dream, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like me on this like farmland for a month. Like, it was chill, but I got bored eventually.
Yeah.
So then I dipped to Vancouver. Like, I had to convince Brennan and the roommates. Like, I'm like, I don't have COVID. Please let me just stay for a week. Like,
yeah, let me stay for a week.
Yeah.
So funny, man.
And then it ended up being like 6 months, and then just like,
let me stay for a week is such a crazy pitch in comparison to what you did. Let me you stay for a week and then you populated the garage and that little like side room
I
thing?
made it popping in that bitch.
Yeah.
And then like
Yo, shout out to the Crown
I had a
Street.
fucking hallway to sleep in, which was just thankfully they had a little bed for me. It was like less than the twin size,
But people had to
like
walk through to get to the rest of the house unless they went outside. But if it was raining or anything, they're just like, fuck it.
No,
I'm
there was
walking
like a court, I was in the corridor and you could either walk across the lawn or
Yeah.
go through my room to get to the living room. And once the rain season started, then I was like, fuck. Like,
Yeah, everyone's coming through.
yeah.
How do you manage that? Like I've thought about that before because my place right now I have this like extra bedroom, but my biggest kind of issue is like I don't want someone to like have to walk through my space to go to the washroom or use the kitchen or anything.
Yeah.
And like what if I'm jerking off? That's my thought always. I'm always like, what if I'm jerking off and they walk in and I'm jerking off, Like how do you live differently knowing that at any point someone could just like walk through? Were people knocking at least?
Yeah,
or like
people were knocking,
Yeah.
and sometimes they'd like pop their head in by accident. I'd be like, "Ugh." But like I think once like fall hit and it was raining and people had to go through, I ended up sleeping on like the living room couch every day, which was like, kind of depressing. But, like,
yeah, that's bum life, bro.
I mean, I
You had to do what you got to do,
I
know.
was like 21 at the time. It was like whatever. I was just like cruising through life.
Yeah.
I guess. Just like
It's painting.
yeah. So.
Well, what was funny though, I mean, and we don't have to get into like, specifics with it, but I do think it's interesting, like some of the paintings that you made during that time. Like for anybody who doesn't know, August is an amazing painter and artist, and recently, last year, you started getting into more of the kind of gallery scene out in New York and stuff, right? And starting to be able to like kind of get in that world a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm currently working on that. I mean, it's a slow process.
For sure, yeah.
I'm not gonna get into too many details.
Okay,
on it,
yeah. But it was cool though. You were able to sell some paintings that came out of that time period, right?
I sold one painting that was from early 2020 in New York.
That's cool.
So
That's cool.
That was fun.
Yeah. Do you know that the painting that I have, it's up over there, the wood one that also came out from that time period?
Yeah, I painted that in 2021.
Oh, okay. A little bit later. Well, that one, I still think you can see the singe marks on it. It's like one of my favorite things that I own because it was in the bathroom, like where the MOTN was, and literally that's like, yeah, that shit burned in that, like there was the little singe marks. I still regret to this day, and I guess I could break back into the old spot and go and get it, but there's that one painting that's still in that bathroom that I thought at the time, I was like, oh, this is just gonna like get so fucked up, I shouldn't take this, but it's all cracked and like super burnt. It was like literally on the wall that like was set on fire, but it would be kind of a vibe.
Yeah, I mean, that's your call.
Yeah.
If you want to break into your old shop, I don't know what kind of fucking charges you get. I'm gonna grab my hoodie. I'm not cold.
Oh yeah. So okay, so then you move back. You move back to Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in the house. That goes till you're saying
like December.
till
30th.
December, and then you move back home.
Yeah, then I went back home.
Yeah, and how long were you back home for?
Probably 7 months.
Okay, yeah. And a fun 7 months, or
I mean, like the first 5 months were like lit, and then after that it was just got weird.
became less fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that whole ordeal, but
Yeah,
we don't. I think just skip that.
Skip that altogether.
Yeah.
Can I do just a little recap, just because I think it's apropos to the general topic of what the podcast is about? But
yeah, sure.
Basically, New York and specifically just graffiti culture is just pretty fucking wild, and there's all these like weird little interpersonal and political things that go on there, and somebody had made some kind of post about you having clipped somebody, and even though that wasn't the right person or anything, that clip went viral. And then you ended up getting a fuck ton of hate and all this craziness, right?
Yeah.
That basically sums it up.
No, still to this day. I mean, I got love too.
Oh
which
yeah,
was, like,
absolutely, yeah.
Which was cool, I guess.
Okay, so but the idea of this podcast is talking about how you take something, like your shitty circumstances, and how you're able to channel that into like keeping going. So so. Let's put a ballpark on it, like in terms of, you know, at least what you think. What, like 10,000 people maybe?
For what?
Like that were like commenting stuff, or like that had said some negativity your way?
It was probably upwards of 50,000.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So like an arena.
Yeah, so I guess I like something for that like to go viral of that magnitude is like, I don't know, pretty rare. Like the things for that to happen, like it was like a combination of me having not a locked profile, not a private profile on Instagram, having enough people in the graffiti community following me to share the video. And it's not like it just happens instantly, like one person shares it and then that person shares it with two people. And it's exponential, right?
It's wild.
And I guess like yeah, it is what it is at this point. Like, you know, I'm just trying to be a good person, and like I guess we could talk about it, but like I'm just like, how do you? I've been trying to figure out like, and I think I have figured it out, but like just using these kind of negative experiences to like make yourself like a stronger person.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, I had a lot of people telling me to kill myself, and you know, that I should stop doing art and I should give up, and like the voice, it's just like, if I didn't, this was all on my phone. These are just words on my phone. Like they aren't like. I've had a few people in person like come up to me and say shit, which is like, but it's mostly like just letters and words on the phone, which they don't mean anything if you don't like put meaning in them.
You have basically an arena of motherfuckers, like an arena. When you put it in those terms, you got an arena worth of people saying fuck you. And you still like keep going, and not only keep going, but keep thriving, and then like, you know, like are doing really cool stuff, and then also achieving big things. Do you feel like now you have to play down aspects of your art or your achievements because you know that there are people that are watching that don't have your like best interests in heart or whatever?
Well, you know, it's like it could come in terms of like, what is my legacy going to be? Like, is my legacy going to be like the majority of outsider people thinking of me negatively, you know, or am I going to make a positive impact bigger than whatever happened? And my goal is
100%, yeah.
My goal is, you know, right now, like in terms of like internet life, like it's probably majority negative, but you know, that's just internet. Like if you look at like that, there was a documentary recently come out, hatchet wielding hitchhiker.
Right.
In 2013, a man went viral, and you know, millions of people praised him for basically killing someone who was on a rampage and was going to kill a bunch of people. So it's like, oh, this guy's so awesome. He plays the guitar. He's so cool. They put him on Jimmy Kimmel, but in reality, he's like he's mentally ill, and he ended up like committing murder following that. Just like trying. He's like, oh, I'm gonna hunt all the pedophiles and shit, and he just goes out and like goes to a pedophile's house and like kills him, and people we're glorifying this dude for years.
Yeah.
And he's just like a mentally ill homeless man. Like, and like millions of people were like, I want to be your friend. They'd like,
Oh my
they'd,
God.
Like, they'd like buy him drinks when they saw him on the street. They'd like give him like a concert show. They'd like doing all these things for him. And he's like not a good dude. You know, and like the internet is just misinformed. It's a misinformed.
It is a misinformed
like,
place.
I'm not
Yeah.
a fucking serial killer.
No.
Murderer. Like
You went
I've
2
got-
inches over another person's throw up
Yeah, and
piece,
and
who
I'm-
wasn't the person also that like all of the, what I think is the most egregious part is all the fucking institutions that reported it,
Yeah.
that had no like basis of fact checking. Literally
No.
saw a fucking tweet and were like, let's run with this story and let's put this man's life out into the streets and let's see what happens. Like they were really gambling with your safety, right? Like
Exactly, and my family's too.
Yeah. yeah,
but,
Bart.
you know-
Bart. I want to make sure that people know which ones, so that they know who I think to support. Barstool, fucking 20 or what is it? No jumper and
A bombing sign.
bombing. It's fucking crazy. Literally no ounce of research going into it. Just taking a fucking a tweet and going, oh, okay, that's what happened then. No photo evidence. No even contacting you. Fucking what's his face was the only one that actually reached out to you, right? The all gas no brakes guy.
Yeah, but
Andrew Canahan.
Even Andrew Callahan, he backed out.
Right.
Because I didn't act quickly enough. Like he wanted to do an interview, and I was like, "Can we wait like a few days?" And then he was like, "Sure." And he would have done it immediately on the spot, FaceTime. And then we planned it, and I talked to him. He was like, "Okay, we're ready for tonight." And he's like, "Yep, okay, I'm ready." And then last minute, he backed out. He's like, "Hey, out of respect for Zexor's family, like I don't want to give you any attention and bring any attention your way."
Yeah.
And then I sent him photos. I was like, I didn't go over Zexor.
Yeah.
Here's the picture.
Yeah.
And then he just like left me on scene.
That's a fucking bad journalist. That's a
Yeah.
bad journalist, because what you have in that moment is an amazing story that's about the internet, which is like his whole entire thing, which now we're seeing is a great fucking example of like this like karma shit all kind of circling
No,
back,
he just
because
got
he just got fucking canceled, and you're like, oh, I bet you wish you had somebody with a platform that could clear your shit up, eh? Because he literally had he had you in communication, wanted the interview, and then found the evidence that was going against what the narrative was, had the opportunity to be able to put that out and clear you of all that shit, and chose not to, and chose to let you basically have to, for a while there, kind of figure out whether or not somebody was gonna kind of, like, people were saying they're gonna come to your fucking house and shit. Like, people were talking about your family.
No,
it was wild like that.
Yeah, and you know, I did. Obviously, I'm not like 100% perfect. Like I made the mistake of trusting the police when they approached me, which I'll never do again. I don't trust the police at all now.
But also that situation is really fucked when
And
you've got a head injury, you've just been hit, and then and then they're
Within
putting you in the
5
back.
minutes, I'm approached by the police.
You're put in the back of a cop car, and then
Yeah.
they don't put cuffs on you, and
Yeah.
you have your phone. Yeah, it's a stupid.
And you know, I use social media way less than I used to. Like I was on my phone all the time. I was being a fucking goofy on social media.
Because you had what, like 2,000 followers or
No,
whatever.
I had like 500 followers.
Oh yeah, and then it went a lot more, really quick. At any rate, I'm not really wanting to harp on this too much. I just am more interested in the idea of how you internalize, because you are saying that, okay, so it is just the internet and the power of the internet. So then what is is legacy what kind of draws you to keeping going in general? Is that your main motivation for art, or is this just like what you need to be doing?
I think it's like it's not even legacy. Like I don't give too many fucks about that.
Mhm.
It's more about just like living an interesting life.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
You know, just like having a spicy life. You know.
That is your in motion piece of advice for today.
Yeah.
Live a spicy life.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way of doing it. Yeah, man, you really do need that. Like, do you think about like, I think like often about the idea of like wanting to have a life where I have stories to tell my grandkids. Like I want Like if I just want to have stories to be able to tell that are like, oh, what the fuck, you did that, like.
Yeah. No, everyone does it their own way.
Mm-hmm.
But I find like just experimenting with different mediums is like always like interesting to me. Like that's bringing change, and like I guess maybe shit isn't as exciting as right now as like the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shit's gotten a little slow for me, but like.
What do you mean, dog? You fucking wait. I gotta
slow,
check you on
slow.
that. Yeah,
Not
gotta check you
slow,
on that.
But like I'm not like.
As manic.
I'm not as manic.
Yeah. No, I can
like-
see that.
I'm
You're a little more
Yeah.
like taking your time with things and yeah,
I just
leveled.
I misspoke. Like,
Well, you're not on as many drugs as you were before, so
Yeah,
that probably helps. Well, you just recently went to fucking India, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not that slow. Like
No, I'm just
you're getting
talking
flown
shit.
out
Yeah.
across continental to go and do like paintings. Like
Yeah.
pretty wild when you think about where you've been and where you're at. Like
No,
that's what I mean. Where you
I
don't advertise this stuff like nearly as much as I think you would have at 500, even though you're at 5,000.
Yeah.
Like, but it still is a really big fucking deal. Like.
No, that was a trip in itself.
Yeah.
That was like, I think I'm going back.
Really?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, this summer.
Fuck yeah.
Um,
God damn, that's so cool.
yeah.
That's so cool. That's like I like the pinnacle, I think, of like success is like getting flown out to places. I really think that like, oh, somebody's gonna pay not only for me to come and do the thing, but they're gonna also pay for me like the flight for me to go and do that, and you get to go to another country, experience all this like weird, like new and interesting culture and
Yeah.
everything. You're gonna have to, really like take your time with it on this next one, because I know with the last one you were saying you just pretty much stayed in there.
It would be different this time around. I guess for those listening, I spent 3 weeks in India in December working on like a mural commission at like this mall facility called Maker Mac City Complex, and yeah, that was what I did. I like the art style there like was just a complete shift in just, I don't know, just emotional tone and like I was using colors I never used.
Mm-hmm.
I think just primarily just like being flown to like an exotic new country, and they're like, okay, stay in this room, like, and just fucking paint all day. And like I'm just like, okay. Then I just like go outside for a bit and
Get some food and then come back.
yeah, it was.
That's so cool though. That's so cool.
It was a fucking. That shit was wild.
Do you see yourself being kind of a nomad? Like you kind of are always in motion in a lot of ways. Like you are moving more than anyone I know.
Mm-hmm.
You stay in places for pretty extended periods of time. How do you feel about like the idea of you feel like you have a sense of like home per se? Is home New York? Does that feel like home? Does home feel like Vancouver in your apartment? How do you get that sense of stability as well?
I guess like home base for me is like here in New York and Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like it's at the moment it's more. I'm in Vancouver more of the time per year, but I guess New York is always my home. Like I was born and raised there, so
Mm-hmm.
that's home for me.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting. Do you kind of see, like, I guess one thing that I always think is interesting in comparison to maybe some of your other peers in your program that you're in right now, your intentions for why you're there have got to be so different in comparison to the other people that are in that program, right?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Even with like the conversations I have with my teachers, like when you're in 3D, people like the main question in your degree is like, what's your specialty? Are you a lighting artist? Are you rigging characters? Are you modeling characters? Are you a look dev artist where you're focusing on texturing? Just like whatever point in the pipeline, you like compositing, like it's just so fucking much. And people typically pick one or two of those things, they get really fucking good at them, and then they get a job. And you know, most of the people in my degree are trying to go into the industry, whether that, because the industry is fucking huge in Vancouver for 3D animation. Like it's comparable to California, I'd say.
Yeah.
With just video games and TV and movies. But I'd say I'm the only person in my degree who's not trying to go into the industry.
Yeah, that's the interesting kind of bit about it, right? Is that everybody is kind of doing that so that they can then become in service of a larger kind of function or whatever. But you're in there primarily and singularly minded, focused on then enhancing your kind of repertoire of skills and stuff that you're able to draw from. Why specific? I mean, you touched on earlier the idea of needing to make these things in 3D. If your kind of your path is looking like in the kind of gallery commission, that kind of world and stuff, what do you see the kind of the merging of all these different things kind of looking like?
I honestly, I don't know how I'm going to use it in the future. I can't predict what I'm going to make or anything, but, you know, I could say like, oh, NFTs, but like, I don't care that much about NFTs.
They went away pretty quickly, eh?
Yeah.
I see, but in the idea behind it will then get translated into something else. I think that's pretty obvious at this point, because the idea behind it is not any dissimilar to like being able to buy skins on your video game character or whatever, right? It's all the same shit. It just means owning something in the digital landscape, and they're having a certain kind of valuation on that ownership in there, you know?
There's one artist who I really like in terms of like the amalgamation of like 3D and classical oil painting is Emma Stern, goes by like Lava Baby on Instagram, and she basically uses Cinema 4D to like create these like sort of gray kinky paintings with like schoolgirls and like fantasy beasts or like pirates or whatever. And then she'll take the renders that she models and like does the lighting with, and then she'll make an oil painting with them. And I don't know, I think that's really fascinating to like make something in 3D and like paint it
and then paint it afterwards.
It's the same exact thing, the two images. One is just like recontextualized. And you know, is there a comparison to be made? Because I find it every time anybody gets into the AI art kind of conversation, my head always just goes kind of back to like, well, like 3D animation is also made on the computer. It's made by a person. It takes significantly more amount of time and work than, you know, AI art, but it also is in that world, especially now that they're going to be probably introducing more of that AI functional into that kind of landscape. Do you see there being a pretty big distinction still between AI art and 3D art? Or I guess when I think about like the soullessness argument, that argument always kind of irks me when it comes to the AI thing. But. No, I think AI art is dope, first of all. I think, you know, people talk shit on it. And like, there is issues with like data collection. It's like, they're probably gonna have to fix that.
Yeah.
Just privacy and shit. But like, I'm pretty sure Getty Images is like suing Midjourney right now.
It's just so funny. Like, fuck you, Getty Images. You guys have been like monopolizing just the paparazzi industry for so long. Fuck Getty Images for real. They pay shit. They're horrid.
But I think to differentiate between the two, I think right now, if you want to do something in with like a 3D program like Maya or Blender or whatever the fuck, you're able to like be precise with, okay, I want to make this exact thing, this exact object in this exact landscape. I want the lighting to be like this. I want the colors to be like this. I'm going to paint every single object myself manually. And then you get exactly what you want. Versus AI, you're typing in stuff and it's not as precise as what you want to get. And sometimes the AI art can be sometimes more extravagant and it's made instantly. But I think like a lot of it, you can type in different styles and stuff, but like a lot of it sometimes looks like, okay, this looks like AI art. It doesn't look like it was made by a human. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it
No.
does.
I agree.
It's like
I
you
don't
can
think it
tell.
looks. I don't think it looks like a human made it.
Yeah.
But I almost sometimes I have two interesting kind of tangents with it. Well, one, I think my idea of what art looks like and what the artistic process looks like is really based actually on me looking at you, because I don't really have too many other people that paint like that in my life. You know, we have Jake is a close friend, but he mostly serves in it kind of similar to your peers at school as a tattoo artist. It's not a lot of free form ideas coming out for him. It's mostly the somebody commissions him, he does the piece that they're wanting, and then kind of goes on from there. Whereas I've seen you take a fucking street sign before, like literally a construction roadblock sign, and just like look at it and then just start going, and then you end up finding it while you're in there. And I don't know, I know that you have certain things in your head sometimes, but there is seemingly a bit of randomness that is kind of involved in it, or at least chaos that's involved in it. And a lot of the times when I see the AI art, it reminds me of that chaos and like that randomness where people's perceptions, and again, it's why it kind of irks me on that argument where people will be like, well, you didn't plan for it to be like this. I'm like, well, motherfucker, welcome to good art.
Yeah.
Because the motherfucker who's like, I'm going to paint a rose today and it looks just like a rose. It's like, oh, that's great. You know, like, I don't think that there's anything interesting or cool about that at all. I really don't. I don't think that somebody that can paint a rose, awesome. You did the thing that millions of other people have done. That's great. But when you can really get some actual like randomness involved and some like free flow and just figuring out where you're going, that's where like all the coolest shit happens, and the mistakes and the weird kind of, little bits of
No, if you make like a perfect painting, you're gonna make a boring painting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the other thing that I think about, which I was realizing this the other day, because I've been going to the pool a lot lately, and
Cool.
the Hillcrest Aquatic Center.
Where is that?
In Hillcrest, it's kind of like near like the big baseball stadium. Yeah, kind of more like commercial area. And I've been going there and just getting like really fucking high, like I like wasted, like as wasted as you can get off of edibles. Like I'm almost done that 1,000 milligram edible that you gave me. I've been going through it, and dude, I need to just say no. Next time somebody tries to give you 1,000 milligram edible and you're like, oh, I'll just eat it slowly over the course of a couple months, you just start to go fucking insane off of it. You just literally eat.
I'm surprised you're going through it.
It's been, I only have a little bit left, man. Yeah, because you take these big bites.
Gotten you fucked up.
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm on fucking opiums or something. It's like when you're.
I got rid of it. Bro. I was like, just take it.
When you're walking around and you're just like. And at the pool, I don't have my glasses on too, right? So I'll take my glasses off, I'll take the edible, and then I start walking around in there, going to the sauna or the steam room, and it starts to activate everything even more. And I'm sitting in the steam room, and I'm like full-blown hallucinating in the steam room because I'm off like a couple 100 milligrams off of a big bite, right? But what I'm realizing with why I think I'm so drawn to the AI art is because what you were talking about with that kind of uncanny valley of like, oh, it doesn't quite look like a person made, or it doesn't quite look like a photo. The hands are always off. The face is just always a little bit off. It doesn't look exactly like what people kind of look like. That's how I see motherfuckers without my glasses on. Like the not being able to see fingers. Like if I take my glasses off and somebody is the same distance as that camera, I can't see that camera right now. Actually, I can only see the red dot that's in there. I can't see anything else that's going on involving that camera. So when I'm at the pool and it's one of the only times where I have like these extended periods of glasses off, and especially when you're in your fucking head off the edible, I'm just looking around. I'm like, everything is AI. It's all AI, man. The glasses are the phone that tightens it all up, man.
Need some contacts.
Yeah, I'm pretty useless without these things. That's been a weird one to come to realization. I'm like, I'm 22 now, and this shit's not getting any better.
No, I went to the eye doctor, and they like tested my eyes, and they were like, you're probably gonna need glasses in your 40s. And
yeah, that's pretty normal. Yeah.
It's weird that they can tell that now, though.
Yeah. I'm waiting to go one time and them to tell me you're gonna be blind when you're 40, like properly fucking blind.
Oh nah, bro, don't say that.
I don't know. I don't care. I've been looking at TVs
I think, like,
since I was.
Technology and like medicine when we're 40 is just gonna be a lot better. And, like,
You think?
Yeah.
I don't think it can get you any likes, so I don't think that it's gonna. I don't think that we're gonna advance much in medicine. I don't. Dude, how many people do you know that like literally? Do you know a single person that's trying to become a doctor right now?
No, but I don't hang out with doctors. So, like,
I know a few nurses.
yeah.
I don't know one goddamn doctor. I don't know, like, I got one engineer buddy. That's it. You know, everyone else is like.
You're in the comedy world, and like.
I got. Yeah, but I got friends in a lot of different facets and stuff. Everybody is kind of not down, like. Like in all of these serious ones.
It's like it's a lot of money, it's a lot of effort, and then once you become a doctor, you're just like on the grind for the rest of your life.
I know. Why would you want to do it?
Yeah.
Literally, I don't know why you would want to do it. I guess you get paid.
If you're like, I feel like if you're like a surgeon, you get paid a lot of money, like a decent amount, and like you're doing good work, and you know some people have like different kind of minds where, you know, that type of work like appeals to them more, or just like a scientific mind, or like just trying to like solve like medical issues, like that's their thing. I don't know.
Could you imagine being the type of motherfucker that's like, I want to solve some medical issues today?
I mean, bless these people, bro. Like,
yeah, of course, yeah.
The world would not like survive without them.
Yeah,
like they're necessary.
Yeah,
like, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think we should just all just be making OnlyFans accounts. I don't think we need any doctors. I think we should just be doing OnlyFans. Yeah, I think we should all just be thoughtin'. You almost started an OnlyFans, I remember. At one point. You almost did. You were considering it. You're like, I think I could OnlyFans.
It was something else. I was thinking about like, oh, maybe I should like go into the porn and
right. Yes, yeah. You wanted to become you're like, I'm gonna move to LA and become a porn star. I was like
I think I was just like really high for like a week. It was too much time in that garage. I was just like, once I run out of cash, like maybe like porn star doesn't sound so bad.
Oh my god. Could you imagine in 2020 you decided to move to LA and just become a porn star?
No, I'm glad I didn't do
I'm glad you didn't do that too. You're scrolling through Pornhub and you're like, is that fucking August? Is that fucking August on it? God, that would have been.
That's a strange life too.
Yeah.
It's like not as difficult. You think? Would you rather be a doctor or a porn star?
I think porn star.
Porn star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to get real up and close with bodies that you don't want to, regardless. The thing with being a male porn star though is you make very little money unless you're into gay porn. That's what I've heard. Like the straight porn star actors don't make that much money, and
unless you're like really big.
even that, like the pay gap in comparison is pretty wild. This is some fucking men's rights act. Poor male porn stars need to be getting paid the same amount of money as female porn. No, of course, because they're the draw, right? So like even like I don't know, can you name 10 male porn stars? Like I don't even think I can name
like
5.
5.
I don't think I can name 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference between, like, maybe I'm like getting into details because I watch too much fucking porn. But like, I think like if you own a channel versus you being under like a
Right.
talent agency,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
like a big difference.
That's probably
Like,
true,
Even
yeah.
if you're a regular actor.
Right.
Versus,
Yeah, if you own your stuff, of course. Yeah, you're
if
gonna
you have your own channel like on Pornhub or whatever, and you're like, I don't think the people who do this are like great people, but like you're like, oh, I'm gonna book these like females to come see me. I'm like booking them, and
Yeah.
making my channel, and I'm getting a following. Versus like the female owning the channel,
Yeah.
and the female like not being under like a modeling, not being under an agency. The female owns it.
Oh, that's why
And, like,
OnlyFans does so well, because
Yeah.
people realize that they don't have to be put in any kind of situations that they're not interested in or not comfortable
No.
with, and they can just kind of secure their bag however they kind of see fit, you know?
I was seeing a girl in 2021 who like made $8K a month US off OnlyFans,
Jesus.
and she barely posted. She like posted like a few pictures a month,
Wow.
and you know she told me, she's like, I just have lazy followers. Like they pay me like I have like 1,000 lazy followers. Like they just don't unsubscribe, and it's like $7 a month.
Jesus. That's kind of ideal. You know, you don't
Yeah.
have to do anything. I guess
No,
so.
and it was like I didn't see her for like more than a few months, but it was like kind of weird. Like after sex, she'd like take a picture of herself, like nut on her and shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm like, you ain't gonna ask me. Y'all put my nut on the internet.
Yeah. Can I please use your nut for this photo to make my rent this week? You're like, okay. Yeah, you're gonna buy dinner next though. I want dinner. If you're gonna use my nut, I want dinner. You know. Speaking of nut, we're making a movie. This is
Yeah.
gonna come out probably right around when we're starting filming. So yeah. We're making a movie.
Mhm.
And we kind of came up with this thing together back early days, back in literally, honestly, like we've been talking about it since like 2020 probably, right? 2021.
I think 2021 is the first time you brought it to my ears.
Okay, yeah.
It was in the old MOTN shop. He was like, I want to shave your head, and we go out on the streets and pour some buckets of liquid on you. And I think originally it was only supposed to be like one of those short format videos.
Yeah.
That that we've been doing before.
Yeah.
Like a 5-minute video or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just kind of kept growing it, and now it's like it's taken on a life of its own. You've got like all these amazing people
Yeah.
working on it and talented, and I have like so much faith in this movie.
Weirdly, I've never had more faith in a project that I've been a
Yeah.
part of. Like
No.
weirdly, it's just strange, and it could turn out shit. Like I know that in the back of my head, but
It's not gonna turn out shit.
at any rate, it's gonna be the movie that I want to see. You know, it's gonna be the movie that we're gonna be able to turn to one another when we're at the premiere and go, "What the what the fuck?" You know, like what the fuck? Looking at all the people coming out, you know, like what the fuck? You know, literally just keep repeating that. What the fuck? The whole time while we're filming, it's gonna be what the fuck, man.
the fuck?
It came out of this voice that we've been doing for years now. And it's just like silly voice that you, me, and Brennan have just been like kind of making for years and years now. It's kind of like British, like kind of guy. And then we had done this Jenkins and the Hunt for Liquor as this kind of like Trailer Park Boys parody, but using those kind of archetype characters. And we always used to just call you Jenkins as your nickname. You were Jenkins, I was Edmund, and Brennan was Puppet.
I
you know?
remember coming up with the names. You're like, oh, what should this like this other guy be? I was like, Slim D. And you're like, Slim Dick?
Yeah.
Slim Dick. And then it's like, what should the sheriff be? I was like, burgers.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotta be.
Oh God. I always used to say, and I still do. I mean, I feel more creative as a person, even when you're just in the city. I've had that since we've been, yeah, since we've started being friends. I've always felt that. I've always felt just being able to come up with just weird, and I think it's like maybe like I don't know if it's like a trust or like a permission to be just absolutely fucking insane, where you have another person where you can turn to and like you can't get weird enough, like you know what I mean, like there's no point where
nothing phases us.
Yeah, there's no point where you're gonna be like, hold up, that went too far, you know. like it's we're making a movie where you're gonna be covered in cum, and you're shaving your head and eyebrows and everything for us, and
Do I have to do that?
Yes, you do. Yep. The hair and eyebrows is essential to the filmmaking process, and it's gonna be so fucking weird, man. We're filming it probably literally right now as we're doing this, and I wonder how it's going. Any predictions?
Oh, for how it's gonna go?
Yeah.
I can only speak in terms of like my end. I can't really, I've been at home, some nights I've kind of been like not practicing, but it just kind of comes out of me sometimes, like how this character is going to move. Like I'm trying different ways, or just different voices, and mimicking different characters that I think would work well, like Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings, Dobby, just these kind of like
little ragamuffin
little
fucking characters,
gremlin people that like these archetypes,
yeah,
or what?
No, absolutely, yeah. Those
what was
are
that movie that you told me to watch?
The Holy Motors. Yeah,
that one. Just like trying to figure out, like, because I don't want
physicality.
I want to do like, we've been doing this voice for years, right? And I don't want to just do that again, where we're just doing this like schmiz, like hey. I want to like take it to the next level with this character and make the movements different, make the voice a little bit different, just like change it up.
Yeah, give it some freshness. Yeah. No, I think it'll be interesting. This is kind of, I mean, you've done, I remember you used to take like improv classes, and you've kind of, like dabbled in that world, but this is going to be kind of the biggest like acting foray for you, right? So do you have any kind of nerves with, we're going to have a big casting crew there or anything? How you feeling with all that?
I'm pretty good in front of crowds.
Nice.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't see it really being an issue. And I have like considered like the method acting thing if I wanted to try it.
Oh God, fucking method acting.
It's probably a no for that. Unless like I'll try to really get.
Dude, I hate method acting. Yeah. So I mean, just as like a practice on set, I don't mind like the even like staying in the voice or the verbiage. When the method acting becomes an issue is when somebody
like bothering heads.
Yeah, bothering heads or disrupting the productivity of everything going on.
No,
you know?
I think I'll just do it. So I'll just really try to get like become that character while the camera's rolling, and maybe like when we say cut, I'll like and need to practice. I'll still once I'm off, like there's so much other shit that I'm gonna need to do too. Like I'm gonna have to help paint the sets and shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So like I can't be Jenkins
the whole time. Yeah.
But one thing that because I'm staying in our friend Seb's cabin, I was telling him like you could bring me a bucket of like herring fishes every night. I'll eat the fish.
You'll eat the fish? Oh my God.
I just started like 2 weeks ago. I switched from being vegan diet to like a carnivore only diet. So I'm like, all right, I'll just eat like raw meat or like any meat.
You live in a spicy fucking life, dude.
Yeah.
You live in a spicy fucking life. I love that. You go from the vegan, the carnivore, you go from India to then playing Come Jesus, pretty much, and everything in between, man. This is I think a really good example for anybody that's out there. You might feel like shit. You might feel like the world hates you. You might have 50,000 motherfucking people tell you that. But if you don't have some kind of reason to keep going and keep moving on this day in and day out, oh man, like, you're not gonna get anywhere, right? Like, if you just decide you'd like to do it and because you want to live a spicy life, I think that's a really fucking good way to keep going. Because the whole thing right now, like for me, we're doing a podcast while the apocalypse is going on. You understand? We've got a comedy club where literally the whole world at any given moment might just fucking fall out from under us. So we're trying to figure out why in all of this, why you keep doing anything, why you make the OnlyFans account, why you decide to not become a doctor. And that's something we really hold true and fast now as a moral on this show. Don't become a doctor. Start an OnlyFans, live a spicy life.
Exactly.
Okay, man. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this.
This was fun.
I'm really excited. I'm excited to show people to our audio recording that we did earlier of of us doing the animated scene and come in, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this April. This is gonna be a really fun week.
We're out here.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Oh,
Dude, check
there we go. There we go. All right, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. This has been the In Motion podcast. You have been in motion, and take care. We good? Am I good? Yep. Hell yeah, baby.